How's it going, guys, and welcome back for a new video. First of all, I want to thank you guys for 16,000 subscribers. I'm definitely going to have some videos out about that, and it's probably going to be some canon release at some point to thank you guys for this 16,000 subscribers, sorry. But anyways, in today's video, we're gonna go ahead and remake how to nuke with a cannon, because the other one kind of had a bad microphone, and I didn't really go into the details that I wanted to go into. So today's video, we're going to learn how to efficient nuke, and the reason we want to do that is because efficient nuke is probably the most common used way to cannon nowadays. So I think we're going to start off there and see how that goes, if you guys like it or not. The server I'll be doing this on is DexMC. It's my own cannon test server. You can go ahead and feel free to just connect to it and have fun. But alright, this right here is a normal efficient fusion. The way it is fusioning is by having each side of the power do something different. Now, if you're not familiar with how fusioning works, don't worry, we're not going to come too much into it, and hopefully you would understand regardless. But anyways, we got this right here. This one right here is controlling all the sand. This one here is controlling all the hammer, and that is just about it. That's pretty much it. And then of course we can fusion right now. If we press the button, you can see that it is actually working. We also have a little scatter right here. We're going to come more into why I did it like that. But here we go. Boom, there we go, and then it scatters it, and there we are. But of course, if you want a bigger hole, you can add efficient nuke to this. Now, if you nuke with a normal cannon that doesn't have a nuke, what you would do is pretty much pre-stack without red sand, and then the next shot coming in would of course have the hammer, and it would have the red sand, it would have everything inside this, and then you can nuke it down with the slap bust. Now, in our case, we are pretty much going to do the exact same when using the efficient nuke. The way we're going to do it is actually pretty simple. So imagine that the sand comp is in charge of course, stacking this sand right here. Then, of course, we have our red sand on top of it. But inside the red sand, we are going to have our hammer and our second hammer. That's right, we're going to be using a second hammer, because the first hammer is in charge of stacking the sand, and the second hammer is in charge of nuking it down. Because along with the sand right here, we're going to have a nuke inside our little sand stack right here. So that way, whenever the first hammer goes off, it stacks all the sand, but leaves the TNT right there. We're going to use order of entities for that. I know it's a little bit complicated right now. I promise you, we're going to go more into details about order of entities and stuff like that. I also made a video about it if you want to check it out. But anyways, in this block right there, we don't only have TNT, but we also have a sand. Now, of course, I cannot make that float in the air, but you get the drill, right? So the first hammer stacks it down, the second hammer nukes it with the nuke, or the slap bust right here, if you can call it that, and just kind of nuke everything down. And the reason we can do that is because we're going to use order of entities. Order of entities pretty much say whatever you activate first, whatever you move first, or whatever will also stack first. So to get TNT on top of the sand stack, all we need to do is to make sure that all the sand right here, all the sand that we need, has fallen into the cobwebs or in a fallen stage before we tick any TNT. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and dig into what we're gonna do. So the way we're gonna add a nuke is that we're gonna add it within the sand stack, because we want it inside the sand stack. So the way we can do that, we're just adding it right here on this cannon. It could be different on yours, but we're gonna add it right here on our cannon. So we're gonna have the nuke right here. That is going to be the location of the nuke. Then we're going to need a second hammer. We're gonna use this one right here for that. So this right here is essentially our second hammer. Now, you're going to need a lot more if you want to stack 255, but this right here is just a quick example on how you can do it. Let's go ahead and give it a little bit more length right here. That's what she said. And then let's go ahead and make a distance right there. And let's go ahead and add all the repeaters that we need, or all the dispensers that we need. I'm not really sure how many we need, but you can never have too much. So why not just go ahead and... Oh, did I mess that up? I didn't. All right, let's go ahead and add one more. Sorry, I'm kind of OCD right here. So this right here is going to be our nuke. This is what's going to be in charge of pretty much stacking everything down and make that big hole that we are talking about. So let's go ahead and add a few repeaters to it. Let's go ahead and do something like that. That is good. Now that we've done that, this right here should be fine for now. We can add it one more higher just for the look. And once we've done that, we're going to need a booster. So the way we can make the booster, we can do it in different ways. We can use a normal booster, or we can make an infinity booster, which is the ones we use on a lot of cannons. Let me go and show you guys how that looks like if you guys are not familiar with that. This right here is an infinity booster. We have the TNT right there blowing some of the hammer a little bit. Then we have this TNT blowing it further, this TNT to blow it further, and then all the way in. But let's go ahead and stick to what you guys probably know, and that's just a normal booster that can do the tricks. So let's go ahead and add a little bit more space right here. Let's go ahead and add a normal booster right here. We know can do the trick and also can fit inside our little area right here because we do have a redstone going right there. So let's go ahead and quickly add that. There we go. And let's go ahead and add something like this and put a tick on it. There we go. So now that we got the booster planned out, we can pretty much start doing stuff. So first of all, of course, you want to go ahead and add a repeater into the booster to make sure that works. Now the ticks for this nuke right here is going to be somewhat complicated if you're not really familiar with how we do stuff. And also, when efficient nuking, we're going to have to use two sides of nuke, one for the game tick side, one for the normal tick side. But we're not going to come into that today. But okay, so now that you want this to be a nuke, you know that this booster right here can boost everything in. Now you need to figure out how many ticks you need on your nuke, because you want your nuke to go after the sand, because if you don't have it going after the sand, then it's going to stack like halfway into your your sand stack, and you want it at the top so the hammer can reach it and nuke down. So to do this, you can either use a blaze rod on my server, or you can just go ahead and count ticks. So we're going to go from the bottom, and then we're going to count all the repeaters all the way through with all the ticks associated with it. And I actually just did that one, sorry about that. 1 tick right there, 3 ticks right there, and you get the drill. So that's pretty much what you have to do. So go ahead and add to that. There you go. And all the way up here, boom, boom. And then we have the comparators. So let's go ahead and add that to it. There you go. So in 18 redstone ticks, that is when the sand starts to fall. So you're going to need at least 18 ticks on this one. Counting from the bottom, we have 1 tick, we have 2 ticks, we have 3 ticks, then we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There you go. Now, depending on how much sand is going down into the cobweb, then we can, of course, change that later right here. But for right now, I think it's important just to get it working, or at least shooting out of the barrel, and then take it from there. So, what we did is that we added 18 ticks right here to make sure that as soon as the sand falls, then this one here ticks off. Now, that is actually wrong in this occasion right here, but we're going to go ahead and take a look and see if we can get it to at least stack or something like that. So let's go ahead and see. Here we go. And there we are. And as you can see, it actually stacked all the way down here. So we did actually manage to get enough delayed for it to stack this sand right there. But we need a lot more before we can actually make it stack all the way up here. Let me go ahead and do that one more time so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and actually mark it up as well. Let's go ahead and see. And where do we have the sand stack? We have it about, I would say, about right-ish here, right? About right-ish here is where we had the sand stack. Now, let's go ahead and just, let's go ahead and add a few repeaters. So we're going to add all these 4. That's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more repeater tick. Let's go ahead and shoot one more time. And this time, you're going to see it's going to be further up. So let's go ahead and get out. Here we go. And there you, yeah, I actually think it worked all the way to the top. Let me do /fire. That allows me to fire the cannon while not even being there, which is pretty awesome as well. So let's go ahead and see. Okay, so now okay, you saw that? Actually, let me go ahead and disable the scatter. There we go. And actually show you guys. So let's go ahead and fire. And you can see that the nuke is now at the top of the sand stack, which is exactly what we want. And there you go. That was the top of the sand stack. So now that we got it at the top of the sand stack, by simply making sure that we dispense all these dispensers after the sand has fallen, we can now look into the second hammer, which is this part over here. Now, what's really important here when you're trying to nuke is that you need to be on almost the exact same ticks. It is very crucial. Now, the easiest way to do that is actually replacing these with comparators. So they're pretty much the same way you use a slap boss. So if we replace these like this, boom, there we go, and then have the exact same ticks from the nuke to the hammer, then we should be good. Once again, I'm gonna pull out my blaze rod right here, but of course, if you want, you can just go ahead and count ticks. We're gonna count from the bottom again, and we're gonna count every single repeater. That is 1, that is 2, that is 3, and that one there's 7, 11, 15, 19, and 23. So from the bottom, we're going to need 23 repeaters, or 23 ticks. So we have 24 right now. So all we need to do is reduce it by 1 tick. And then we should be good. So let's go ahead and fire this cannon. I might need to replace some walls right here, but we're going to have a look. And let's go and see. There you go. So now it actually nuked quite far down because we added comparators to our sand stack, or our nuke in this case, and then we have them on the exact same tick. So what it's essentially doing is doing the exact same as a slap bust would. Now we just have the slap bust at the top, so it's going to tunnel down as much as possible. Let's go ahead and have that one more time. I'm pretty sure I was in render mode. Was I in render mode? No, it just went fast. Let me go and show. Can I put something on right here? I want to show you guys the explosions as well, so it might look the same on your screen. Animations, explosions on. Let's go ahead and do that. Boom. All right, here we go. So we do have red sand, we do have sand. So now you should be able to see that it's nuking down. And there you go. So now it's not really nuking a lot. There's ways you can make this more efficient by game ticking one side of your nukes right here and stuff like that. But for this video, let's just go ahead and add a little bit right here. I'm not going to come too much into game ticks and why it's nuking more with game ticks and stuff like that. It's a little complicated, and I don't want to drown you guys right from the start. But as soon as you get the hang of how you can make these nukes right here, then it's really not that hard to understand the rest. But it's very crucial that you actually understand the order of entities when nuking and stuff like that before you go into that. Now, the ratios between the nuke and the hammer is also very important. That is also something that you're going to be experiencing, that you're going to add like a million pieces of nuke, but the hammer won't be able to nuke it down. So that's also a problem. As you see, it did the exact same. So now, how about we just add a little bit more hammer? What's going to happen if we add hammer instead of nuke? That way we can get the nuke or the hammer to shoot down the the nuke with a bit more force and hopefully go further down. Now once again, if you do game tick this, it's going to go a lot faster and a lot more efficient. But for right now, let's just go ahead and add a little bit more hammer and see where that goes. All right, there we go. So let's go ahead and make sure we TNT fill, and let's go ahead and shoot. So now we should be nuking further down because we added hammer and we added nuke. So let's go and see it coming in. And there you go. As you can see, it took a little bit more blocks at the bottom, which is perfect, which is absolutely perfect. But that there, ladies and gentlemen, is how you make a nuke, or efficient nuke if you want it so. That is the order of entities. That is the model for everything. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and hopefully you guys learned a thing or two. Leave a comment down below if you want me to explain something else. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys next time.